Craig Monson, another guy you never heard of, the largest guy I ever seen in my entire life, including Sergio Oliva and all the bodybuilders included. Craig Monson, a prison guy, was one of the biggest guys I ever seen.
The oldest bodybuilding contest will be held this Saturday in Venice. The Ms. Los Angeles contest has been running since 1939, and if you go this weekend, you're going to see one of the most incredible specimens you have ever seen. Craig Monson is a former Fremont High School football player. Monson is 280 pounds of solid muscle, the biggest bodybuilder in the world. And I got news for you. You don't get a body like this out of a Wheaties box.
ATF and DPS arrested 16 members and associates of the East Side Crips. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Guy Atchley.
And I'm Stella Ingerlon.
In the mid-'70s, bodybuilding was on the rise. Icons like Arnold and Sergio were basking in the limelight, while one man stood in the shadows, Craig Monson. He wasn't well known in the mainstream, but he was notorious in the streets of LA and feared by gang rivals and anyone that crossed him. To say that he stood out is an understatement. He stood at 6'2" and weighed upwards of 300 pounds of solid muscle. Craig's journey was not linear. He built his physique while doing time in jail and prison. Each experience behind bars was not only a brutal lesson, but also a catalyst for change. But how did we get here? Monson was born in Conway, Arkansas in 1950, growing up with 9 siblings at a time where racial tension was at its peak. With a level of persecution that many in contemporary society wouldn't grasp. Hoping for greener pasture, Craig's mother jumped on a Greyhound bus with her kids and moved to Los Angeles, California. The palm trees, the beaches, and the Mediterranean climate seemed to be glowing with opportunity. Like many young men, Craig was looking for purpose. Any money he scraped up, he used to buy Iron Man magazines. He hung pictures everywhere and he dreamed of looking like Larry Scott and other top bodybuilders at that time. His mom noticed his passion for weightlifting and bought him his first weight set when he was 13. It was just a barbell and a pile of old weights, but it was enough for Craig to build a foundation. Craig's formative years were spent in the roughest areas of LA, such as Watts and Compton. In the late 50s and early 60s, there were a number of established gangs across Southern California, most notably the Businessmen, the Gladiators, and the Slauson Renegades. Craig started a gang called the Avenues, where he quickly earned the reputation of someone that wasn't afraid to fight, or even kill. Violence became the norm, which led to several stints in jail and prison. His first bid was served in the Mendenhall Juvenile Correctional Facility. While serving time, he began to notice his potential with bodybuilding. To call the Avenues a gang implies a degree of criminality, but that wasn't the intent. At least initially. It started out as just a group of close friends that worked out together. Led by Craig, they hung out at a local gym called the Clubhouse. A pivotal moment in Craig's life happened in the gym one night when an argument ensued between him and Raymond Washington. This incident not only changed Craig's life, but impacted the culture in LA for years to come.
Already talked about, being the creator of the Avenues and...
No. Oh, yeah, creator Avenues.
The Avenues. Yeah, but you were telling me an interesting story as far as how the actual name of the Crips came about and your interactions with Raymond Washington.
Yes.
Can you tell that? Are you comfortable telling this?
That's what I just was talking about.
Yeah. Go on to what I found that part interesting.
When I said that Donnie Boy and Wallace, that's Boo, there's only 2 remaining human beings, plus myself, that's 3, that was alive in the alley when it actually happened. Raymond Washington used to like to play the dozen.
Oh, yeah.
Your mama got big feet.
Yep.
Your mama this, your mama that. I'm on the bench press benching 300 pounds, and he's talking about my mama. Okay? I get up off the bench, and I tell Donnie Boy, at the end, when we done, knock that move. I'm going to kick his ass. I tell Donnie, because this is Donnie's garage, his gym. Donnie said, Mons, don't you close your hand. I got to hit him with an open hand. So at the end of the workout, I said, Raymond, come here. All that old talking about my mama while I'm laying under the bench, I said, that ain't happening no more. Don't you come around here, bow, and I slap him. And Raymond had a limp. I don't remember if he had got shot or stabbed. And he says, as he went to limp away, I don't want to be in your avenue no how. I'll start my own gang. And I said, what you gonna call it, you little Crip? And he said, that's what I'm gonna call it, the Crips. Just like that. True story, I got chill bumps all over me. I don't know how many times I gotta tell the story. That's the way it happened.
The street life shaped Craig, but the weights kept him grounded. His trajectory was somewhere between being a career criminal and a professional bodybuilder. He preferred the latter, but he always seemed to find himself on the wrong side of the law. He had the talent and the genetics to compete against the greats, but he couldn't escape the streets. One night while exiting a liquor store, he got into an argument that led to a fight. As Craig explains it, the man reached into his pocket. Rather than waiting to see if he was pulling out a gun, he laid him out. This assault costed him 90 days in the county jail. A year later, he spent another 4 months in prison due to a burglary charge. Ironically, in 1970, his mother's house was burglarized. Craig restrained the intruder, but when he did, the man hit him with a ball-peen hammer. Craig reportedly took the hammer from him and beat him to death with it. While many see this killing as justified, the courts did not agree. He was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to prison. Typically, when someone is going through trial, they stay in the county jail until charges are resolved. If acquitted, they get released. If convicted, they go to prison, but they stay in jail until they get transferred. To put it simply, jail is for defendants, prison is for convicts. While Monson lost his freedom, he still had the desire to stay in shape. While waiting in the county, he didn't have weights, so he relied on bodyweight training and calisthenics. He was sent to the Charles Dole Institution, which was well known for the prevalence of gang violence, stabbings, and murders that took place inside. The locals called it Gladiator School, or Tracy because of its proximity to Tracy, California. Craig was familiar with its notoriety, but was no stranger to violence himself. He knew he would have to earn his own reputation to survive. To his surprise, when he stepped off the prison bus, he saw weight benches and steel in the yard. Craig knew this would be his sanctuary. In prison, there are two sets of rules: the rules written by the administration and the unwritten rules cultivated by the inmates, also known as the Code. Inmates were segregated by their race. The only place where this rule didn't apply was in the iron pit. In the pit, race didn't matter, but strength was a prerequisite. To earn a pass, you had to be able to bench at least 300 pounds. At that time, Craig was only 21, but he was able to bench 300 with ease. Once he earned his respect, other inmates started calling him Tow Truck. He was befriended by a member of the Hells Angels, a white guy with long blonde hair they called Sunshine. The way Craig describes it, love transcends color, and so does the iron. When doing time, some inmates turn to education for intellectual enrichment. Some use religion for spiritual enlightenment, and others take drugs, just to drift away. While at Tracy, one of Craig's childhood friends got caught up in some prison politics, and Craig stood up for him. While this was admirable, this incident got him transferred to the infamous San Quentin.
When we think of prisons, if we bother to think of them at all, that is, there is a tendency to see them as institutions completely divorced from human society, little worlds of their own. But prisons and their inmates are subject to some of the same stresses and strains as the outside world, as Terry Drinkwater reports from San Quentin State Prison in California.
The guards at San Quentin have their own way of describing the mood of the inmates. They call it the climate on the inside. And this summer, the climate is hot.
There's no way I could touch, and just by talking, on the horror.
Yes.
I can't touch on the horror it is for a young man to go to San Quentin. There's no words I can say to make you feel what you're going to feel when you wake up in the morning.
Yes.
And there's a sound, the bell that they ring when it's time to lock up, the lockup bell, the work call bell. It sounds almost like a submarine. It's an eerie sound that I've never heard other than on San Quentin's yard. It's an eerie, very eerie Twilight Zone sound. Okay, you got 5 tiers in San Quentin. That's like 5 stories. We had a brother named Geronimo. He climbed on the top and jumped off. But he was trying to get out of here. They come out their cell, they're tired of it, they can't do no more. Some nights, yes, I have nightmares. I still hear that sound. I wake up in a cold sweat. I hear the gates rattling, okay? It'll never go away.
Craig chose to get as strong as possible, not just physically, but he also strengthened his mind. While there, he earned his diploma, he completed creative dynamics, and participated in group therapy and counseling. After being denied parole twice, his counselor wrote a letter to the board on his behalf, which helped him get released after serving approximately 5 years.
I told you guys that I used to go to Gold's Gym and compare myself with Arnold, all the guys, Lee Haney, all the guys you would see in the magazines was at Gold's Gym. And I would compare myself to them. And I felt pretty good about myself. And then one day, strolling down the Venice Beach boardwalk, I seen a giant crowd gathered around. And it was one person standing in the middle of that crowd. And the closer I got to the person in the middle of the crowd, the bigger that motherfucker got.
Once released, Craig pursued his dream of bodybuilding. He started training at Muscle Beach, where he quickly gained recognition. He met the actor Danny Trejo, who had also done time in San Quentin. This common thread connected them instantly, and they became good friends. Craig knew that Arnold trained at Muscle Beach early in the morning, so he got there at the same time. He wanted to see how he looked standing next to him and to get advice. While Arnold admits to purposely giving his competitors bad advice, he actually helped Craig.
When it comes to the day of the contest, I'm his father. He comes to me for advices. So it's not that hard for me to give him the wrong advices.
He advised him to change his form when bench pressing. He told Craig his grip was too narrow and said go collar to collar. This tip increased his bench pressing numbers and helped him widen his chest. Sergio also gave him several tips, including specific exercises to keep a small waistline, to achieve that tight V-taper, which is a must for the sport. According to Craig, up to this point, he hadn't used any performance-enhancing drugs. After competing in some local shows, he was advised by some of his peers to change his cycle. A naive Craig knew nothing about this, but always suspected that some of the competitors were using something. It was then he met Dr. Cox. At that time, Craig was a ripped 255, but the doctor told him he could get him up to 300 pounds with no problem. Craig put on about 20 more pounds while staying lean.
Dusk till dawn, I turn my speakers on. Why they wanna play with the king? I told them meet LeBron. There's darkness in my city, wrong moves, and you won't see the sun. They be talking loud, but never been where the creatures hunt. And bleed for this dream, so why your eyes closed? Been running through the pain. Look at me, and now my strides go. Every single scar on my skin, another milestone. Battles in the dark, came out shining with the lights on. Look, but I don't think they listening.
He continued competing, but despite the talent and his enormous size, Craig never won any major titles. He spoke about one particular contest in Geneva, Switzerland, when he earned 5th place. He was fine with where he finished, but when they handed him his prize, he was furious.
When I got backstage and I opened the voucher, the envelope up, and it's a blank voucher, and I came over here to give me some money. Now I get mad. And all South Central come out of me. I pull a sink out the wall.
Oh.
I pulled the sink out the wall, the water shooting up there. I just reached, and I pulled this thing, and I threw it on in this porcelain, and it cracks. And they say, oh, and Big John Brown come back there, Big Craig, what the hell you doing? He said, I wish I could act like that, but I can't. Big Craig, you gonna go to jail. I went to tearing shit up back there.
Oh,
I had a breakdown.
Ultimately, Joe Weider and others that controlled the sport didn't think Craig was marketable enough, so the politics prevented him from ever being taken seriously in the sport. The way Craig puts it, he really wanted to compete at the highest level, but wasn't willing to sell his soul. The final straw came in 1984, when he competed in the Amateur Athletic Union Mr. America contest. He was going up against the young, confident Boston native Arthur Prince, but the judges were also from Boston.
Do you have to give up anything to be a bodybuilder? This is a big commitment.
You give up a lot, but then you gain a lot more from other places. Like, I lost a lot of my old friends, but I gained a lot of new friends. And you know, hey, I have more in common with the people around here, so I feel more comfortable.
Artie, what's one of the most exciting things about being in these competitions?
I don't know. You know what it is? Not really competing, but you meet people. It seems like every time I go to a contest, I make new friends. And then somewhere in the future, I'm all the way from Boston, I see these people again. It's like having a party.
How many wins have you had?
I've never lost my height class.
How does it feel when you win every time and they call your name?
I don't know.
Well, just think about it. I mean, you got time.
I don't know. I don't get cocky because I work hard, you know. So it's not like I'm surprised.
How important is it to have someone train with you?
Very important, especially when, like, in the last months before a contest, because you know there's times you don't want to go to the gym, you don't want to do this. And me being young, my other friends, like, they don't know how to accept it. And, like, it's so funny that I'm 20 and Joe, my training partner, is 37.
Everything came together for Craig. He had the symmetry, the size, and the vascularity. Everything. During Craig's routine, the DJ cut his music off. While this could have been a technical issue, Craig was convinced that it was done on purpose to tip the scales for Prince. Craig felt like this was his night, and the audience clearly agreed, but he finished in second place.
Who do you want? Ladies and gentlemen, second place, number 65, Greg Monson. And in first place, number 75, Arthur Prince.
Bodybuilding legend John Grimmick met Craig backstage and told him he would have won Olympia that night. Nevertheless, this loss devastated Craig. He had experienced injustice many times in his life, but this time was different. They stole his dream. He gave up on competing, and as philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, "By losing your goal, you have lost your way." Craig began drinking and partying. His trips to the gym became less frequent. What started out as a good time became a full-time job, and he found himself in a different type of prison: addiction. Bodybuilding gave him a sense of purpose, so once he stopped, he lost his identity. Craig realized he needed help, so he found a rehab center in the mountains of Santa Clara. He started attending meetings and heard stories of others who were also struggling with addiction. Craig once again found freedom and got sober, but something was still missing. In the mid-90s, Craig was working in a warehouse in the Los Angeles Valley. He started to miss the euphoria he used to feel with weight training. Listening to his body, and perhaps something deeper in his soul, he brought some dumbbells to the warehouse. He found a secluded area and gradually started working out again. During downtime, he started curling the dumbbells and doing push-ups. Every night driving home from work, he would pass by the Hollywood Gym. This was a place that he loved when he was competing, and it seemed like it was calling him. Then one day in 1996, he decided to walk in and check it out. It had been years since he stepped into a gym, but as soon as he did, he realized he was home again. The clink of the weights, the smell of the chalk, and the audible strain of the other lifters brought back a flood of memories that he missed so much. He signed up and started showing up. He took it slowly, only bench pressing the bar at first. By this time, he was in his late 40s. He knew he would never have the strength he did in his younger years, but he felt invigorated. He felt alive again. The locals knew about him. They had heard stories of when he was skull-crushing 315 and bench pressing over 500 pounds, so he still drew a crowd when he worked out. He recounts one day in particular when he was feeling good and lifting heavy. He told the crowd of gym patrons,
"I'm about to show y'all something."
He loaded the bench press with 315 and started repping it. In disbelief, they started counting. He hit 315 40 times. Craig was back, but not for the accolades, the trophies, or the fame, but for the love of it. Today, Craig is 74 years old and he still works out several days a week. He's still active in recovery and attends church. He speaks openly about his past and uses his experience to help others, warning people about unchecked anger, drugs, and the street life. When he looks back, he has many regrets. He's remorseful for the wrongs that he's done. Success is often defined by what one achieves, but it's more than that. It's about the journey you undertake to reach your destination. It's the contrast between points A and B. It's the ground you claw your way across between who you were and who you become. Craig escaped the streets of LA, the cold walls of San Quentin, and the prison of addiction. For Craig, true success lies in that distance. The winding road between rock bottom and true freedom.